The other day, I had the pleasure to meet with Eric Anderson, president of Enviroclean. His company helps homeowners with disaster cleanup. Today we're looking at some surface mold and talking about how it can affect the sale of a home.
Hey, good morning, Eric.
Michael, good to see you.
Great to see you too. So what's going on this property today?
Yeah, so we've got a mold remediation project about to start. We have our customer here has their house up for sale. They had some buyers in last week. They had it under contract, but during the home inspection, the home inspector found mold down in the basement.
All right.
And that turned the buyers off. They got afraid of the mold. They were nervous about that, and it made them afraid, so they backed out of the deal. And so we're here to take care of the mold remediation, get it all cleaned up, spick and span, super nice, and get this house back on the market, get some fresh buyers in here.
Perfect. So there's no need to fear any mold. Let's go down and take a look and show you guys around.
Great.
Come on.
Let's go. So we're going to walk down the back end of the basement here. I'll take you guys downstairs, show you some of the mold, the surface mold that we're talking about earlier, and take you through the remediation methods.
All right, sounds good. Let's go take a look.
So we have Jeff here, one of our lead techs.
Hey, Jeff.
Jeff is setting up negative air. Right now he's setting up so that we set up what's called HEPA filter negative pressure. And the machine's gonna pressurize the basement so that the airborne spores, as they're cleaning, get pulled into the machine, trapped in the filters, and the fresh air is blown outside. So that's the first step in setting up a containment. We'll contain the basement from the rest of the upstairs so we don't risk any cross-contamination through airborne spores traveling upstairs. Important step in remediation. And then these guys will suit up and they'll start the cleaning process once that is done. So come with me over here and I'll show you a couple of areas where the mold is growing more evidently. But if you want, you can look up and you can see along all the joists. Right here is a really good example of surface mold. See how now you see all the surface mold here on all these joists, and it runs all the way across throughout the whole basement. And the mold, what people don't realize, a lot of times it can grow in different colors. And so in this case, it happens to be white, gray. You can look in some areas, you might see light green. A lot of times people are scared or ask about, well, do I have black mold? And often what they're asking is, do I have mold that could potentially cause harm? Do I have mold that is dangerous to my health? When in fact, the color doesn't matter. A lot of times the color is just the species of mold or the surface, the food source, the surface that it's growing on. In this case, we probably have a mixture of different types of molds: Aspergillus, Penicillium, Basidiospores, Cladosporium, Ascospores, more common molds that grow in damp environments like this basement. Now this mold probably grew because the basement doesn't get a lot of activity. They have the laundry room down here, but generally speaking, not a lot of air movement. So you have that. Second thing I noticed is no dehumidifier. And I recommend that every basement, no matter how dry you think it is, runs a dehumidifier.
Definitely.
Dehumidifier keeps that moisture out of that environment. Mold needs three things to grow. In order for this mold to grow, you need a food source, which is the wood. You need moisture, and you need adequate temperature. Our basements are ideal temperatures for mold. Our food source is here, so the only controlling factor that we can mitigate would be moisture. If I control the moisture, I can control the mold. So in this case, what we're going to do here is we're going to clean the mold by HEPA vacuuming. It's a vacuum with a series of filtration in it. After we HEPA vacuum, we're going to disinfect it. So right here, see this white?
Yeah.
So the home inspector also pointed out that this could be possible mold, and I want to share with you guys now it's actually not mold, this is efflorescence, often confused.
If you have questions or concerns about mold in your home, please reach out to Enviroclean today. Thanks for watching this episode of Rolling with MJ.